What's going on, people? Live from Florida. I'm about to go inside and get me. I got a weird craving for like a vegan oatmeal cookie ice cream sandwich. That's exactly what I'm gonna do when I'm done making this video. But I wanna start a little series on this channel if you care to watch. And if you like to donate to the channel, that is not possible because I don't take donations. I'm not a church. And understand this. You paying me. If you were to give me a donation, I'm not gonna allow you to do that. You're paying me to make videos on my phone for nothing. Like all this information I'm telling you right now, I got from somebody else. When you donate to a channel, ask yourself, what are you donating to? You could spend that money on your kids, on a savings, on your future funeral. It's a lot of things you can put your money to, but don't give them to people on YouTube. That's just what I'll give you advice to. Don't like this video, don't subscribe, don't donate to the channel, and for the love of me, don't share this video either. Yeah, a little reverse psychology on you. All right, but I meant the whole don't donate to the channel. I don't want you giving your money because I work hard every day, and I'm not giving a cent to nobody who just sits on their ass all day on YouTube and makes videos, and they're not really doing nothing. Like, just my opinion. If you call yourself a podcaster, I don't know what you're doing that's making the world a different place. Just talking about things. If you're not changing them, you're not really doing nothing. But anyway, this is a series I'm starting. It's going to delve into the mind of autistic people who kill. And I don't need a book. I don't need a college course to understand the mind. And I want to, talk about this first person in my first episode. So the first episode, I'm going to talk about Samuel Woodward. I believe that's his name, Samuel Woodward. And all this information I'm telling you right now, I watched him at work because I can have headphones in my ear while I work. I watched about 73 videos on him. So all this information I'm just telling you, I just literally Googled, and I'm literally just copying and pasting a video. I'm copying and pasting other people's videos in this video. So that's why you shouldn't donate to the channel. But let me just tell you about his life. This is not about the victim. This is about the perpetrator. This is why it's called Inside Autistic Minds. So, Samuel Woodward, he was born in 1998. So he's about 26 years. He's 26 years old right now. And he's currently in jail. He's on trial right now for murder. So Samuel, give you a little basis of his life. Grew up in California. Grew up in the conservative Catholic home, not Christian, but conservative Catholic home. Had a 2-parent home, something that I wish I had growing up. Grew up in a Catholic home, conservative, California, all those 3 C's right there: conservative, Catholic, California. That doesn't go together at all. But that's just what he has going on for him. He's in a conservative Catholic home in California, and he eats corn sometimes. Anyway, he was known by classmates, high school classmates, as someone who did not respond a lot when he was talked to. He always looked sad and depressed, and he was known as a racist. He was known as a racist, bigot, sexist, homophobic high school student at his private school. Because he went to a pretty exclusive, he went to a performing arts school. He went to an art school, and, it was really expensive. His family, had some money. And he was a classmate of the person that he is accused of stabbing 19 times in the neck. But he was known as somebody who was real, sad looking and depressed. He has that undiagnosed autism going on where he can function as like a, just, he doesn't have to go to special ed, or he doesn't need assistance. He doesn't need to have like a wheelchair or a helmet on his head. He is able to function in society as someone who can be perceived as normal, but when they start talking, you come to the understanding that they may not be like you. So yeah, he had a history of racism. You know, they had this book in school called Raising of the Sun. It's a book that we had to see. My dad, my father, in the 7th grade. This is a TV movie that we had to watch. P. Diddy was in it, and Felicia Rashad. I had to watch that for class, but I wanted to watch wrestling instead of this fucking Raising of the Sun. My dad didn't let me watch TV for 3 days because I didn't want to watch that Raising of the Sun movie. And a lot of movies that deal with the oppression of black people, they were making us watch these movies. And let me just tell you this. This is just my opinion. It doesn't help the self-esteem of black people making us watch movies where we're slaves and we're looked at as lower than in society. It's okay to know your history, but let's start showing kids, mostly black children, positive representations of black people, so you don't think so low of yourself. But they had to read this book called Raising of the Sun when he was in school, and he wrote the N-word, the word nigger, on his book. Not the N-word. He didn't write like N and then word. He wrote the word nigger on his book. And he had a lot to say about gays and women, you know, things you see on like a Reddit, on like a 4chan, whatever the hell that is, like whatever you see on these like little chat rooms on Reddit and all these white supremacists, suspected white supremacists, as Tariq Nasheed would say, suspected white supremacists, chat rooms. He'll say little things like that in school. And he went to a predominantly white school, so it wasn't like something that raised eyebrows. Like, they didn't pull him to the side and say, hey, this isn't okay. Let me tell you this. I went to a predominantly black school after I left the predominantly white school. And black people said things about white people. So I can understand if white people say things about black people. I mean, that is what you're going to do. You're going to, like, let me tell you this. We read this in English class. We read this, and the teacher was white. We read this poem, and it had a racial slur in it that started with a W. I'll just say that. And this kid, Kyrie, said that racial slur the whole class. It wasn't a big deal. But the point I'm making is, when you're in a school and you are the majority, you're going to say things about other groups of people, and it's not going to be a big deal. He has a history of saying racist things. Now, this may piss some people off, but I support freedom of speech, freedom of expression. If you don't particularly like a certain group of people, if you don't feel comfortable around certain people, if you have opinions on people, I support you 100%. Because there's a lot of things that I don't particularly like. I don't particularly feel comfortable around, and I express it. And I don't feel as though you should have that taken away from you. Now, when you're trying to harm people and it's really, my problem is when you have power over another person and you have these views. I had views and I never mistreated people. I had jobs where I seen a lot of fucked up things, but I never mistreated people regardless of who they are. I have opinions, but I've seen a lot of messed up things, and I would not like for someone like Samuel to be a police officer, paramedic, correctional officer, lawyer, or prosecutor, someone that has position of power. I don't want them having that power and they have these kind of views. If it ever comes to that point where we go back to Jim Crow, hopefully people can understand, because I don't know what this country will be in the next 50 years from now. But if we ever go back to that point, let's just pray that we're prepared for it. Yeah, you see the sweat coming down my forehead. But anyway, yeah, he had a history of racism. He had a history of, beliefs. And what it was, I think of this. and I don't expect him to, but he wasn't around a lot of black people. He wasn't around a lot of different races. So that's why he had a lot of negative perceptions of minorities, because you're not around them. All you see is what you see on TV. And this is why I feel representation of oneself is very important. This is why I don't support coon TV shows and movies, because when you project it, when you display these kind of stereotypes on TV, this is what people think of you. That's why I don't watch shows like The Wire and Empire and all these. It's just coonery at its finest. It's buck dancing. It's some vaudeville shit. But he had a hit. But he left that school, in his 10th grade year. He went to a college, and he wound up dropping out. And then he eventually, he got into the whole white supremacist movement online. It's a lot of white supremacists, because most of them really are just online, chat rooms, because they're not really doing anything to help white people. They're not doing anything to black people. They talk about what they want to do, but they're not actually doing it. They're not actually, doing drive-by shootings in Compton. They're not actually miseducating black kids. I mean, it's going on, but they're not the ones doing it. It's the Democrats that are. But they're not actually, they're not burning churches. I mean, they want you to build more, but they're not doing anything that is causing blacks to be oppressed. They're just talking online, and they're not acting on these thoughts that they have, which is good, because what happened, there'll be a lot of bloodshed. But they're all just angry, confused teenagers who may have saw some white woman with a black guy, and now all of a sudden they don't like black men. Because let me tell you this: a lot of white guys who don't like black people, who identify as white supremacists, what they really mean, and not all of them, but what they really mean is they don't like black dudes, black men. And then vice versa. Black guys who, man, I'm sweating like crazy. Open my door a little bit. Black guys who claim to not like white men, they don't like, they like the white woman, but they don't like white men. Because Samuel was known to have said that he met up with like 5 black girls on one of them meetup, those dating apps, and he had sex with them. I don't know how true that is, but yeah, he was known to have a lot of racist beliefs. And I'm gonna do a part 2 to this when I'm less sweaty.